Hey guys, it's Jo of SportsGrid. It is Saturday. We've got a ton of action on the ice, and it's time for Puck It with Jo. Now, we've already done two Puck It Cup of Joes. The Boston Bruins just absolutely dominated in that first period versus the Philadelphia Flyers. We were able to go over their team total of 3.5 for plus money at plus 114, as well as we had the Boston Bruins on the puck line in that first period. So that was another plus money bet. Now, I did take the puck line for the full game for the Bruins before they scored all of those goals. They're up 6-2 right now over the Philadelphia Flyers. No real way to jump in on this one right now, you guys. If you don't have a bet in it with 5 minutes left, I wouldn't recommend jumping on it. Now, the Washington Capitals and the Dallas Stars got underway. This is one where I looked for this game to go under that total of 6.5 at minus 124. Looking a little dodgy right now with both of these teams having 2 goals in this game. That first period was a lot higher scoring than I expected both of these teams to come out to start. Charlie Lindgren and Jake Ottinger, the goalies, in net in this one. When we look at this, I also did find the value on the Capitals, plus 1.5. And I know, Doug, I know you're out there watching. You always say you and your damn Capitals, Jo. But this Washington Capitals team is able to keep games tight. So now with them tied up 2-2, actually, it looks like the Dallas Stars just scored. It is a 3-2 game with 9 minutes left. The lines have just opened back up. Plus 370 here on the money line right now for the Washington Capitals. Plus 1.5 on that puck line is plus 122. I would be looking at that puck line. This team has been able to keep it tight. They might not be able to get the win here, but I do expect them to keep this one tight. That live total is 8.5. I would go to the under 8.5 at minus 115. 8 minutes left in the second period. I think that's an overreaction of the lines. Yes, we have 5 goals, but come on, 4 more? Can we see that come in? I just don't know if I can. But you guys, thanks so much for being here, Matt. It's good to see you here too. Jimmy, thanks for being here. Yeah, that Boston pick was absolutely money. So hopefully you guys were able to get it. And Doug, come on. I know that you keep going against the Capitals there, but I just like the value on the puck line. The Dallas Stars with Jake Ottinger. What we've seen out of him since he came back from injury, I expected a lot more out of him. And he just hasn't looked like himself. And when we look at Charlie Lindgren has been the stronger of the 2 goalies. And I know offensively, the Washington Capitals just aren't at the same level as the Dallas Stars, but relying on the goaltending there. So I do like the plus 1.5 in that one at plus 118 right now. The plus 370, it's asking a lot for the Caps to be able to get this win, but you know, you get that value on teams, and sometimes I just have to go there. Last game for both of these teams before the break. Let's start with the first game that's kicking off at 4 o'clock Eastern and get to some of these bets here. We have the Buffalo Sabres taking on the San Jose Sharks. Now, you guys know I'm all about value, and that's why I was talking about the Capitals so much. And I always look at them. And the value is on the Sharks here at home as the home dog. This team has been playing solid as of late. They're coming in right now on FanDuel plus 168 on the money line. When we look at the Buffalo Sabres, they're over $2 favorite, minus 205. Total of 6.5, minus 130 to the under. When we look at the over, we're getting plus money on the over, plus 106. This is an over game for me all day long, just because I do think the San Jose Sharks will find the back of Lincoln's net tonight. Now, we know the Sharks have been struggling on the season. We look at their overall record on the season, 13, 31, 0-4. It's not a good stat there, but the Buffalo Sabres aren't a team that I have a lot of faith in. Yes, they got the win over the LA Kings, but this Kings team is just so decimated at the moment. They're playing absolutely terrible on defense, which was their core. They won that one 5-3. I'm expecting the Sabres to be able to get the goals in this one, and then the Sharks to answer back in a lot of these cases. So my best bet, favorite bet is the plus money on the over 6.5. That way, if the Sabres come out and win this 5-2, then we cash nicely on that over, and we're not kicking ourselves for betting the Sharks. I do think there is value here, though, on the Sharks on that money line, just home dog. We look at them versus the New York Rangers. They were able to get that win in OT. That was 3-2 win on Tuesday. They got a shootout win versus the LA Kings on Monday, and that was in LA as well, you guys. And then they beat the Ducks in that game 5-3. So this team has been having success. They want to roll into the All-Star break with as many wins as they can get. This record just must be haunting them right now. This isn't their last game either. They also have the Kraken on deck on Tuesday and the Ducks back on the road on Wednesday. This is the last game for the Buffalo Sabres, and I kind of look at teams with their last game here, and while the Buffalo Sabres absolutely want to improve this record, they've got to look stronger. They've been strong on that puck line on the road. That last game versus a weaker opponent here in the Sharks could spell disaster out here, especially when they beat the Sharks the last time they played each other in January 3-0. So I'm looking for a competitive game here. I love the over all day long. If you're brave, sprinkle the Sharks. So they have off a win. They've covered the puck line in their last 7 games off a win. So the Sharks on the puck line plus 1.5 is minus 150. You guys know I can't touch that. So if you want to play anything on the Sharks, for me, it would be a sprinkle on that money line. I still haven't got there, and I don't know if I will, but I have bet that over 6.5. Let's look at the Nashville. And if you want to take a safer way, take the Sabres team total over 3.5. You know that's going to come in. It's juice, so I didn't bet it. The Nashville Predators, the game everyone has been waiting to see. Will the Edmonton Oilers roll into the All-Star break with 16 straight wins? My guess is absolutely they will. Ever since they beat Calgary, I thought this team would steamroll. Now, for some reason, I really thought this game was in Nashville. I didn't realize it was in Edmonton until just before that last game. But yeah, they're playing again in Edmonton here. This team has covered the puck line in their last 6. They've been locking down opponents so strong defensively. And when I start talking about the defense and the goaltending of the Edmonton Oilers, I have to check myself and be like, is this really the Edmonton Oilers team? And it is. They've been so phenomenal out there on the defensive side of the puck. And offensively, yes, they're not scoring anymore 5, 6, 7 goals a game, but they're stepping up on the defensive side and they're getting the win that way. Taking their opponent's team total under that total has been a moneymaker. We've done it in the last couple. Of the Preds team total today is coming in at 2.5 to the under. That is minus 112. I do think it's a solid way to go because Skinner in the defense has been playing solid. I worry about Saros in here for the Nashville Predators in net. Now, he's not 100% confirmed. He is expected. Saros has been allowing some really weak shots to go in the back of his net. So if this one goes over, it's because the Edmonton Oilers just dominate offensively out there and really open up in a game where I do expect them to lock down 2 on defense, but they finally find that scoring they've been looking for. So a little leery on the full game total of 6.5 because this could be that game. Darnell Nurse was interviewed last game and he said, we're looking for our offense to get back there, but we are winning this one with strong defensive play. So the lines on this one, because I forgot to tell you guys, it's minus 230 here for the Edmonton Oilers, plus 188 for the Preds. If you are brave enough to step in front of this winning streak, and as soon as I hear myself say that, I hear Scott Wetzel, my co-host tonight over on the grid, telling me losers bet against streaks and winners bet with streaks. So I think he's right in this case. So I cannot go against the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Now that puck line, like I said, they covered the puck line in their last 6. Laying the 1.5 today is coming in at minus 106. Plus 106. I don't hate it, but I always want more value if I'm taking a puck line. So it would be this one. I think the best bet is just take the Preds team total to that under. And then, yeah, that's the only way I want to go with this game. Preds team total to the under. I really do believe this should stay under the 6.5, but I would be really frustrated with myself if I took the under 6.5 and the Edmonton Oilers come out where we get 2 goals out of the Preds and the Oilers get 5 and it pushes us over. So I'm not willing to take that one. Okay, so that is that game. Man, it's going to be a good one out there. So, and I love what we see now, the Predators. Don't get me wrong, but I tell you, Edmonton, there's no way I'm stepping in front of them. Let's look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are taking on the Winnipeg Jets. And yes, I am scared to step in front of the Edmonton Oilers. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Winnipeg Jets. Let me just find lines on this one. This one is at 7:10 Eastern tonight. With the Leafs, the Dogs on the road at plus 105 and minus 126 here. for the Winnipeg Jets. Now total of 5.5, minus 132 to the over and plus 108 to the under. When we look at what the Winnipeg Jets have been able to do defensively, this team has been doing absolutely incredible out there as well. These two teams just did play. The Toronto Maple Leafs won that one 1-0. Goaltending and defenses were so stout on both sides of the puck. I do think this is another game where, although some people like when they handicap to look at one game going under the total and one game going over, this is so dramatically to that under that there's no way I could see this one going over the total unless, and this is a big unless, Samsonov. He was my biggest question mark in the last game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know Samsonov got thrown down to the AHL. He really did come back so strong. If he doesn't come back strong in this, the Winnipeg Jets offensively have the firepower. If Toronto doesn't lock down on the defensive side of the pot, it would be the Winnipeg Jets that I think could capitalize in this game. Connor Hellebuyck, I will not step in front of now. Again, at home, he's been playing phenomenally strong. I think he has a very strong performance here again. So the Winnipeg Jets minus 126, extreme value for me. I actually can't believe we're getting this. That 5.5 at plus 108 to the under, I think is fantastic. This did open at 6.5, so that line has dropped down. Where else am I going to go? The Leafs team total. I got to take their team total to the under. I just don't see them scoring 3 goals on Connor Hellebuyck. So the under 2.5 is at plus 120. If you're an under better, you got to love the value you're getting on this. Connor Hellebuyck in net has 2.17 goals against average and a .925 save percentage. I trust him at home. His save shots on goal, though, I'm not going to bite on. It's coming in at 27.5, and I think it's just too tight to this number. I look at the Winnipeg Jets defensively, and I really do think the lockdown, especially if they get up over Toronto, with Toronto getting the win, that last game, the last time these teams played, which was just the other day, that we will see those shots not coming in for the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs normally average 33.2, but the Jets holding opponents 229. The kills on both sides aren't too impressive. A little bit stronger here for the Jets. I think both of these teams play clean games in this one, neither wanting to make that mistake. So give me the Leafs team total under 2.5. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I trust the Jets defense a lot more than I trust the Maple Leafs offensively. We know this team can be hit and miss. They lose the games they're supposed to win. So I do think, even though the books don't think they win this one, they think they win this one and they end up losing it. And I would look at the full game under and the 3-2. Absolutely. I could see this even being 2-1 style game, or this is another one that has every opportunity to go to overtime. I would look into that as well, you guys. It's going to be a fantastic one out there. Okay, next game on deck here. If I can just get my odds back up here at FanDuel. We have the Arizona Coyotes taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. So odds on this one, the Coyotes, almost a $2 dog here on the road at plus 195. We have Carolina coming in at minus 240, total of 6.5. Minus 115 to the under and minus 105 to the over. If you like the Canes to cover the puck line, laying 1.5, you're going to get a plus 104, so value there. And if you like the Arizona Coyotes to battle and keep this one tight, the plus 1.5 is minus 125. And that's the way I would go. I would take the Arizona Coyotes plus the 1.5 at minus 105. They have been strong on that puck line on the season, on the road, sitting 13-10 on the road on that puck line. And Carolina just has been winning these games at home. They're sitting, and winning, I say they actually have been dominating on the winning side, 14-5-2-2. But covering that puck line, they get up and they hold these leads nicely, and they don't, cover that puck line in a lot of these cases, sitting 9-14 at home on that puck line. Last game before the break for both of these teams. And I think the real difference maker here for me is Connor Ingram in net tonight for the Arizona Coyotes. He's been absolutely lights out there. And if he was on a different team, I'll say it again, he would be getting a lot more attention around him. He's riding a 2.59 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. His shot on goal prop is something I would look at tonight. It's not up yet on FanDuel. So you guys, if you're seeing a 28.5, I would definitely take it to the over. We know the Arizona Coyotes allow 31.6 shots on goal per game. This team actually has a stronger kill coming in at 79.2%. So I'm not worried here if they take these penalties, although they don't want to take too many because the Carolina Hurricanes absolutely dominated on that power play. They will find the back of Ingram's net no matter how good he stands in there. And they've got a 27.7 conversion rate on the power play. So limited penalties here for the Arizona Coyotes, and they absolutely have a chance of keeping this one tight. When we look at Connor Ingram, I was talking about his save shots, 28.5. 27.5, I love even better, but I would take it to the over either way. He saved 31 of 37 shots versus Tampa. And I know that doesn't sound impressive, but when you put 37 shots on a goalie, he's allowing in 6. So not the best numbers, but I really did look at those high danger shots that he allowed in, and I don't think even the best of the best could have stopped them. And when we look at him versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, he saved 25 of 27. So more on track for what we're needing tonight. The last game versus the Predators, which was 3 or 4 games ago, he was able to save 30 or 32 shots. So that's the kind of goaltending I need out of him tonight to be able to go over this number here. But I do think he does. And if he does, I think it all correlates together that the Arizona Coyotes will be able to keep it tight. Now, am I sprinkling on that money line? It is tempting in this one, but I don't think I will. Carolina is just so strong at home. I just think Arizona keeps it tight. If you're looking for goal scorers, you absolutely know, because I'm liking this one, to the over, because I think the Coyotes can stay competitive with Carolina. We know Carolina is going to score. So Sebastian Aho here, 4+ shots on goal. I really like tonight. That's coming in at plus 146. And I am taking those shots on goal tonight because I think Connor Ingram is going to be hard to score on. Seth Jarvis, 3+ shots on goal here for the Arizona, for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's coming in at minus 128. Now, Seth Jarvis would be one of those players I would take for the anytime goal because his ability to score on the power play is fantastic. And we know Arizona is going to take those penalties. Sometimes they can't get out of their own way. And if they lose this puck line cover because they let Seth Jarvis score on the power play, well, at least we'll get him for the power play goal. When you're looking at the other side, you guys know I go to Clayton Keller. He's coming in at plus 200. And Logan Cooley, so much value at plus 500 today. So that is where I'm going with that game. We've got a million other games to go over, you guys, so buckle up. Let's get through the rest of these. The New York Rangers taking on the Ottawa Senators, 7 o'clock Eastern. Okay, odds on FanDuel. It's a pick'em now, minus 110 either way for this one. Total 6.5. We got minus 122 to the over and plus 100 to the under. Let's just look at this one here. Now, the New York Rangers were minus 125, minus 128 favorites earlier this morning, actually. So interesting to see this one go to a pick'em here. Lots of love coming in for the Ottawa Senators. And I do believe that they're going to play a good game offensively. My problem with the Ottawa Senators is what they allow defensively. Now we have a total of 6.5, and I would take this to the over. You're going to lay the juice at minus 122. The offense is stepping up for the Sens. Their defense is allowing in more pucks than their offense is able to score. So give me the over because we know the New York Rangers, off the loss last night to the Vegas Golden Knights, will be able to find the back of the net. They're going to come out hot and frustrated in this game and try to take it out on the Sens. So this is their last game before the break. You know they want to go in with that win. Igor Shesterkin expected tonight and Korpisalo expected here for the Ottawa Senators. Korpisalo's numbers aren't looking good this year, you guys. It's so much more hope in him. He's got a 3.45 goals against average and an 888 save percentage. Now, Igor Shesterkin here, his numbers are solid, but on the second night of a back-to-back, I expect a little bit of a weaker defensive performance. And we know Vegas was able to put 5 goals on this team last night, and Vegas didn't have Jack Eichel in the lineup. Vegas also had been struggling offensively to be able to score. So for them to put 5 on the Rangers, I really do think the Ottawa Senators should be able to come out and give us enough to push us over this total. Now, when we look at the Rangers on a back-to-back, they've won their last 8 games on that second night of a back-to-back. So the minus 110 you're getting here It seems like a nice price on the Rangers. Well, the Senators have won the last 3 meetings. Like I said, the defense is where my issue becomes with this team. This is the last night for the Rangers before the All-Star break. But when we look at the Sens, they have the Predators on deck at home on Monday, and then the Red Wings on the road. Say that fast 10 times, would you? I can't say it fast. On the road on Wednesdays. So they're off the overtime loss to the Boston Bruins 3-2. They did win this matchup 6-2 back in December. This game, I think it's over all day. You just take the over, stay off the side. I really don't love the line movement there and why everyone's backing Ottawa. I think it's just now such a good price for the Rangers at -110. But a couple other ways to look at this game. I like the first period, over 1.5. That's coming in at -142. So highly juiced. I do think both teams can score, though, in that first period. That's coming in at +148. If you're looking for goal scorers in this one, because I do think this is a 7-goal game, I'm willing to take a couple here. Josh Norris, I think you get such great value for the Sens. He's coming in at +230. Drake Batherson has done us good as of late when we've rode with him for the anytime goal. He's at +200. And Brady Tkachuk at +150. And when we're looking at the Rangers, it's got to be Panarin. He's coming in at +130. And Chris Kreider at +165. So that's where I'm going. Give me just an excellent night of a lot of goals. Can it go to overtime? I don't know. Okay, let's look at the next game here. I see your comments coming in. Jonathan Quick in net. Oh, you guys. Both teams to score absolutely all day long, twice on Sunday. That is my favorite bet now. The Jonathan Quick is in net. Are you kidding me? What is Quick save shots on goal? Jonathan Quick was a goalie that I used to have absolute panic for last season when he was with the LA Kings when he would come and goal. No goalie props yet for Jonathan Quick. And then he came out and he was playing strong. And then all of a sudden, Jonathan Quick went back to being Jonathan Quick. And I don't like how he has been. Yeah, both. Both last games. I look here and I just go, I can't. Yeah. Both teams to score first period. Best bet of the day. New York Rangers, Ottawa Senators. Let's look at the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. If I can find the odds here, you guys, just give me 1 second. Montreal +184 here on the road. The Pittsburgh Penguins -225, total of 6.5. Now that 6.5 juice to the under at -118, -104 to the over. Looking at this one here, this is the last game for both of these teams before the All-Star break. We do have the Pittsburgh Penguins rolling in on their second night of a back-to-back. Didn't have to travel. They were at home, and they killed me yesterday, losing to the Florida Panthers. It was really weird yesterday because I hit 2 unders. I liked all of them to the unders. 2 unders and missed on the other 2. And then I hit 2 dogs that missed on the other 2. So ended up being some plus money because I had the dogs on the road. I had Vegas and I had the St. Louis Blues, but then those games end up going over. And then the other games I hit the unders. It's like I just couldn't hit the double bet in both of those. So killer. But tonight, the Montreal Canadiens, Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins lost last night to the Florida Panthers. That game went to OT. If you took it to OT, I can't remember who threw out these games all going to OT last night. You definitely made money because 2 of those games went to overtime, and it was great plus money on them. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins are another team on the second night of a back-to-back at home. They've been able to get that win. So they've done it the last 7 times on the second night of a back-to-back. My concern here with the Pittsburgh Penguins is Tristan Jarry. He hasn't been looking as solid as I would like to see out of him. But the good thing is for the Penguins, we have Jake Allen on the other side. You guys know I have a lack of faith in Montreal with Jake Allen getting the start. Even though they're such big dogs here, I do think this is one where you wait for the Pittsburgh Penguins to score first and then get yourself some more value. Because right now, looking at Montreal, +1.5 is -126. I don't want that. I don't want to lay juice on Montreal +1.5. I want to wait till the Penguins go up and then grab the Montreal Canadiens plus 1.5 or sprinkle on that money line, depending on what I'm seeing out there for way more value than I'm getting. It's so hard to hit bets in hockey or across the board overall. It's why the sports books still exist. If this was easy, they wouldn't. But I'm not going to lay juice on Montreal plus 1.5. It would have to be Montreal on the money line right now. I don't know if I feel confident enough in them on the money line. But when we look at 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams, they have played to overtime. 3 of the last 4. This game to go to overtime tonight, I would rather put a little sprinkle on it plus 400 for this game to go overtime than I would on Montreal on that money line. So at this point, that is where the value is coming for me. The Pittsburgh Penguins, I just don't love on that puck line because I think this one could go to overtime. But I do think this is an over. Total of 6.5. We look at that over 6.5 is minus 104. I think Montreal can do their share of scoring. Will it come late? Probably. I expect that second and third period comeback for Montreal that we all know they're so strong at doing when teams start to underestimate them. So let's look at players that I would look at prop betting. You guys know it's Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Monahan here for the Montreal Canadiens. And then Sidney Crosby, Rust, Malkin, definitely the players I would circle for the Penguins. So, and Erik Karlsson. You look at Erik Karlsson with his points tonight, offensive defenseman, he's so strong out there. Okay, guys, we still got lots of games to go over. So let's move on to the next one. We're still in the 7 o'clock time slot. We have the New Jersey Devils taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, odds on this one, the Devils rolling in as a dog here at plus 130, minus 156 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, total of 6.5. This 6.5, you're going to have to lay juice at minus 124 to that over, plus 102 to the under. Last game before the break for both of these teams. Now, Jack Hughes, Dougie Hamilton still out of the lineup. We know this team, the New Jersey Devils, is another team that is caught up in controversy. 2 of their players have gone on leave for personal reasons. So I can't buy into a team that's going through so much controversy at the moment, especially when you look at how hot the Tampa Bay Lightning are playing, and they're playing at home. They're sitting 16-5-3 at home. Those odds on the minus 156, it has dropped down. They were closer to minus 165 earlier in the day. I think you look at the Lightning for that first period. I really do read this game as a 2-1 first period here. We got Andrei Vasilevskiy and Vanacek both expected in net tonight. The Lightning in the first period on the puck line laying a half a goals, coming in at plus 148. I think the both teams to score coming in at plus 150 is a solid one. Like I said, 2-1. So I'm asking a lot, and I'm getting pretty greedy with taking the Tampa Bay Lightning, laying the puck line as well as both teams to score in the first period. But I can't go over 1.5. The over 1.5 is coming in at minus 150. It's just too highly juiced. If you're getting a minus 145 out there for the over 1.5, I definitely think that is worth hitting, but I wouldn't hit it at minus 150. I do think this goes over that total of 6.5, and I think the Tampa Bay Lightning win. My problem here is I don't love that puck line. You are going to get a lot of value there on the puck line. Minus 1.5 is at plus 146 for the full game, but the Devils are playing pretty solid still, even though they're involved in the controversy. You look at them, they're off the loss to the Canes 3-2. They have a way of covering that puck line. They're sitting 13-10 on the road on the puck line, and Tampa at home is 12-12. So I would rather get in and get out with the Lightning in the first period and both teams to score in the first period, and then just have the over 6.5 and sit back and enjoy a goal fest in this one rather than the full game. Doug, I see all of your messages coming in. You like this game to the over too, and Tampa Bay. I'm completely with you. I just don't know if Jersey can pull off the upset. I'm not buying into it. This is a hard game here, the last game. So, and I know the Lightning are off a game in which they played the Arizona Coyotes. They won it 6-3. They won the last 2 games 6-3, by the way. So 6-3 final score here. I don't think they do it versus the Devils, but I do think it's a tighter battle. Okay, let's look at the Florida Panthers taking on the New York Islanders. I feel like I wanted to talk about this game ever since we got started, just because I keep almost saying the Florida Panthers when I'm talking about a team, and I don't know why. They're just on the tip of my tongue today. They are coming in at minus 146 here on the money line. We have the New York Islanders at plus 122. Now, total of 6.5 at minus 122 to the under and plus 100 to the over. If you think the Florida Panthers can cover the puck line on the road, laying 1.5 is plus 164. And I'd rather take that than the New York Islanders plus 1.5 at minus 200. One, because you're getting the value. And two, I think the Florida Panthers, even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back, can come out and win this in a 2 or a 3-1 style game. So covering that puck line of 1.5, locking down on the defensive side of the puck, giving us the under 6.5 as well. When I look at the New York Islanders under Patrick Roy, I really do think this is a game where they're trying to lock down on the defensive side. Sorokin is expected in net. Stolar is expected here for Florida, but Florida is so strong defensively right now. I see the Florida Panthers getting up in the first period, covering that puck line, and then just laying back and playing defense in this game. So give me a lower scoring one. Give me the Panthers, even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back. They lock down tighter on the defensive side on that second night of a back-to-back. So that just gives me even more faith in that under 6.5. Now, the under 6.5, the odds on this one were minus 122. It is worth it to take that under there. The last time these teams played, we did see the Islanders win in a higher scoring game, 4-3, and they also won the meeting prior last season 5-1. But I do think Florida is just playing different style of hockey right now, and the Islanders do need to impress their coach and lock down on the defensive side. Okay, how many more games do we have, you guys? We have 4 more games to go over, so don't go anywhere. I need a sip of water. We're going to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Detroit Red Wings. It's like I need a commercial break. You guys want a commercial break? No, I'm joking. Let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Vegas on the second night of a back-to-back, rolling in here to Detroit at plus 108. Now, total of 6.5 at plus 104 to the over, minus 128 to the under. If you think Detroit can win this big, laying 1.5 at plus 184, I don't hate it, you guys. Vegas got a nice big win, 5-2 last night over the Rangers. They will roll in with some momentum here, but the second night of a back-to-back on their last game before the break, I feel like they almost are going to come into this game too confident, if that makes sense. But I do believe the goals are coming on both sides. I'm hoping for the empty netter out of the Red Wings here because I do think it's that tight of a game. When we look at the goaltending, no confirmations right now. I'm seeing Logan Thompson expected here for Vegas and Alex Leon expected for the Red Wings. The Red Wings have value on that money line coming in at minus 130. You could have got them earlier in the day at minus 111. I can't believe how much love has come in for them, but I can too because I just am not buying into Vegas right now. Vegas on the road is sitting 10-9-3-1 on the road, and you look at the Red Wings at home, 13-8-4 record. Now that puck line on home ice for the Red Wings is sitting 14-11, while the Vegas Golden Knights keep it pretty tight, 11-12 on that puck line. I'm going to take the Red Wings team total over 3.5. That's a way to find some plus money in this. It was plus 118. It's now plus 114. I still like it to the over 3.5. I trust them to be able to find the back of Logan Thompson's net. I'm just not trusting Vegas at the moment. And while they only allowed 2 goals to the New York Rangers, I think defense will be tired in this one. Jack Eichel, like I said, still out of the lineup. So if you're looking at goal scorers, Mark Stone really has been stepping up for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's been able to get a point in 7 of his last 10 games. I would look for him to get on the scoreboard today. Dylan Larkin, Panarin, and Alex DeBrincat, phenomenal players to circle for the Red Wings. I would look at any or all of these 3 players for the anytime goal. Maybe if you want to parlay all 3 for a point, if your book will allow you to do it. Some books allow you, and some books say, heck no, you're not parlaying those points. So it should be a good game. Well, the last time these teams matched up, It was in Vegas. The Red Wings were able to pull off the 3-2 win in Vegas. So now back on home ice, give me the Red Wings to do it again. I'm going to sprinkle on that puck line. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to come by the way of an empty netter, but the Red Wings at plus 184 on the puck line. You guys know they had me at the plus 184. Okay, a game I'm not so excited for. The Anaheim Ducks taking on the Minnesota Wild. Now the Anaheim Ducks at plus 180, the Wild at minus 220. Total of 6.5. 6.5 juice to the under at minus 138. Who wants to lay that, you guys? Plus 112 to the over in this one. Now, the question mark here is, can the Ducks get a couple goals on Gustafsson? I really do think so. The Minnesota Wild, they're allowing an average of 3.35 goals per game, 30.7 shots on goal. Now, Dostal is in net for the Ducks tonight, not John Gibson. So that actually gives me more faith in this over, and I can't believe we're getting plus money on the over. I do think probably 5-2 a style game because I think it's that empty netter that comes. The Ducks are going to pull their goaltending even if they're down in this one. So I do think we'll sweat this one to the over 6.5, but I do think the Wild will give us what we need to push this one over that total. Now the Wild have won and dominated versus the Ducks. They won the last 13. They've only covered the puck line in 3 of the last 4, though, so there was a tight game. But I have confidence in this team to do so. The Ducks here have the Sharks on Wednesday, last game for the Wild. They want to go into the All-Star break with the win. They lost that last game to the Predators at home, 3-2. And when we look at the Ducks, they're off the loss to the Stars in overtime, actually. So they did push hard in that one. It was a 4-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. So it should be a great game. The last 5 meetings between these two in Minnesota have gone over that total. So I love this over 6.5, you guys. I can't believe we're getting plus money. Okay, we got 2 more games to look at here. So thank you guys for sticking around so very long. Sabres first period money line and the over 2.5 for the full, or you're going to lay the full 2.5 for the Sabres for the full game. Nicholas, you have faith in those Sabres today. So good luck with that one. What is happening out there on the ice? Did the Dallas Stars finish up that game? Ooh, 18 minutes left in that one. 3-2 there for the Dallas Stars. So it's kind of, if Washington ties this one up, I'm going to lose my under 6.5. If the game finishes right as it is right now, then I miss out on the Capitals and the money line. So ultimately, I want this one to get tied up, but I don't want to lose both sides of the bet. So I'd be happy if the game finished right now. Okay, the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Current odds on this one, if I can find it here. Columbus plus 235. We have the Canucks minus 295. Total of 6.5, minus 130 to the over and plus 106 to the under. I couldn't take this one under that total. It is an over game here for me. Now the Canucks have won 3 of their last 4 games and have 10 game points. Like 10 games they've had a point. So this team hasn't lost in regulation since the beginning of January. I want to say it was the 3rd or the 4th. So they've been absolutely hot out there, pushing games to overtime, so still getting those points in those losses they've had. Their last loss did come in overtime. It was to the St. Louis Blues. That was a 4-3 loss. So I think this team, off that loss and off the last time these two teams played, which was just back on the 15th, where the Columbus Blue Jackets won at home in a shootout 4-3, that we see the Vancouver Canucks flying right out of the gate. They want to come out, get up hard and fast in this one, and then keep their lead. So I'm going to take the Vancouver Canucks on the puck line in the first period. That's coming in minus a half a goal at plus 106. I really do think Vancouver absolutely wants to get up to start this game. Now, this is the last game before the break for the Vancouver Canucks. When we look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, they have the Kraken on Sunday and the Blues on Tuesday. Elvis is now expected. Tarasov was expected before. Demko is confirmed, though, for the Vancouver Canucks. So we'll see who comes out for Columbus. They really haven't confirmed anything, which is crazy. It's already 4:09 Eastern. But we know Demko is going to do his fair share. And while Vancouver's been kind of up and down, with Demko in net, I trust in him. I think he's the stronger goalie of all three of them here. And he should be able to, on home ice, be able to help his team get the wins. So when we're looking at this one, the over 6.5, because I believe in Vancouver to score those goals. So if you want to look at Vancouver's team total over 3.5, I absolutely love it. Vancouver on the puck line in the first period, laying the half a goal plus 106. And then if we look at anyone for the goal scorer, and you guys know, Quinn Hughes, definitely long shot there. I love Quinn Hughes and the value we're getting on him, but I can't say no to Elias Pettersson here for the anytime goal. Now, you're not going to get as much value at plus 115, but that's because the last 4 games, he has scored in each of those, with not last game, but the game before he scored 2. So he scores on the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't care who's in goal. I think Elias Pettersson will find the back of the net tonight and go into the All-Star break on a heater. So last game. Oh, and this one, you guys, you know I've been dreading talking. You're seeing Elvis in net. Okay, Elvis in net. Elvis is a walking time bomb, you guys. I know his numbers have been strong this season. I tell you, if I meet Elvis one day, he's going to go, you called me a walking time bomb forever. I'm not signing anything for you. That's exactly how that conversation will go. But I really do think so. He was just so up and down over the last couple of seasons that while he's looking so hot this season, I'm waiting for him to not. Let's look at the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Calgary Flames. My mom's going to be at this game for anyone who's betting for Calgary or against Calgary when my mama is at the game. It's minus 315 here for the Calgary Flames. Everyone expecting them to get a huge win, which terrifies me. Laying the 1.5 with the Calgary Flames in the puck line, I don't love because it's minus 120, but I'd have to go there because we look at the Chicago Blackhawks, this team. They've been on the road trip. They've lost the last 3 on the road trip. They haven't been covering that puck line. They've got shut out in 2. Plus 250, though, if you think they can upset the Calgary Flames, who are absolutely struggling. They're trying to hold on to a wild card. Watching the press interviews after their last game that they lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets, this team talking about how they need to come out in a do-or-die basic situation, play their best game of their lives this Saturday to get this team's momentum back. If you don't think they can do so, sprinkle on the Chicago Blackhawks at plus 250. It's so much value against a team that has been losing. That total of 5.5 now is plus 106 to the under, minus 130 to the under. I think the first period, we could see both of these teams score, though. Jacob Markstrom and Kelly, if you're listening out there, Kelly reminded me of something that I was always taking before Markstrom went and got injured and then came back, was Jacob Markstrom. He allows those goals to come in quick by the opponents. He has not been looking good. I do think Jacob Markstrom at the trade deadline is out of Calgary. It's sad to say. I think Lindholm will be out as well. This team needs to do a complete rebuild here. Will they have enough to get this win over the struggling Chicago Blackhawks? We know Connor Bedard is out of the lineup. They lost their last game to the Oilers. Well, they won January 7th, 4-3 versus Calgary. They were at home in that one. The last 4 meetings overall, they've also beat Calgary. This is a hard team for Calgary to play. So the value is on Chicago. If Calgary scores first, taking Chicago plus 2.5 on the puck line. I don't know if I would get to, but all of not the trends are pointing to it, but all of what I've seen out of Calgary tell me Chicago absolutely is live on the road to take down Calgary. Like I said, Calgary's lost the last 4, and it hurts me to say. Ultimately, Calgary's a better team. If Calgary shows up and hasn't given up on themselves, which we know Calgary is very famous for giving up on themselves, they should be able to win and cover this puck line. Both teams to score in the first period and the over 1.5 in the first period. The over 1.5 being my favorite bet here. That's at minus 118. If Jacob Markstrom lets in that early goal, then I do think it's both teams to score. I think Calgary comes out frustrated. This could be a 3-1 first period here for Calgary. I absolutely could see it because Calgary knows this is do or die. They are clinging onto a wild card spot in the playoffs. Will they make it? I don't think so. I think this team is in for a drastic rebuild, but they come out of the All-Star break. Their road trip is horrendous, and I mean absolutely horrendous. They face the Boston Bruins, the New Jersey Devils, the New York Islanders, and the Rangers over a week span. Like, they start on the Tuesday and they end on the Monday with the Rangers. So they have to change something majorly over this All-Star break. We also know a little bit of controversy here with Dubé having to leave this team again for personal reasons. So maybe it's playing more of a factor into this. Dubé was one of the first guys who announced his leaving. I believe it was 2 or 3 days before Carter Hart, or maybe it was just one. It felt like an eternity between the two, but I don't know. If you think Jacob Markstrom will let in a quick goal by the Chicago Blackhawks, the Blackhawks to score in the first period at first is plus 200. Calgary to score first in the first period is minus 125. So do what you want with that information. You guys, it's really hard for me to go against my Calgary Flames here. The value is on Chicago. I do think Calgary ultimately, big shout out, thank you for being here. I do think Calgary ultimately gets the win tonight. I just want more value on the Calgary Flames. So the over 1.5 in the first period, that is where I'm going to go. Both teams to score in the first period, I think absolutely has value. And if I'm looking at that, then I'm doubting Jacob Markstrom in that first 5 minutes, and I expect him to be able to get that goal. Okay, you guys, make sure you go over and download the SportsGrid app because my NFL best bets will be over on the app tomorrow morning. So you don't want to miss out on that. If you're looking where to find those, they're under shorts. And if you don't want to go through all of the shorts that are over there to find it, all you do is you go to the host, follow host, you click on myself, you go over there, and then you will see it. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for sticking with me for the last 46 minutes and 41, 43, 44 seconds. You know what I mean, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Don't forget, I am on the grid tonight with Scott Wetzel. Mark Drumheller expected to stop by. Dabby Cabba Pub Night Sports is coming, and Brady Cannon. So we've got a loaded guest list. We'll be going over all of the games live, NBA, everything like that. College basketball, live bets in all of them, also talking all of tomorrow's NFL games, all of the props that we're liking, talking them out with our guests as well. So don't miss out, you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. You get 4 more hours of me live. How many hours of me today is that? Man, I tell you, 5 hours probably when it's all said and done. But you guys, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I love seeing all of your comments coming in with Pasternak for 2 goals this morning at $6. I love it. All the best, you guys. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Drop in the comments what you're liking, what you're betting, anything you're parlaying. Who do I like in football, Doug? Stay tuned to the SportsGrid app. You'll have all my bets out there on the SportsGrid app. But just a quick preview. The Detroit Lions first half plus the 4.5. The Baltimore Ravens, I am laying up to a touchdown. I'm going to lay 6.5 with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they completely dominate KC. Sorry, KC fans, but I had to go there. All the best, you guys. Let's make some freaking money. Chip, thank you so much. You guys, I'll see you tomorrow.